Hello. We are going to finish our presentation on the types of quadrilaterals. Remember, we defined a quadrilateral as being a shape that has four sides, and then a parallelogram is a four-sided figure with both pairs of opposite sides parallel. Remember, when you are going through the video, you can pause it to make sure you get the notes down. The special properties of a parallelogram: opposite sides are congruent, the diagonals bisect each other, and remember, the diagonals are the lines that connect the vertices together. And remember, a vertex is the corner of the shape, and bisect means that they cut each other in half. And then also, both pairs of opposite sides are parallel. So then we have this example problem where you are trying to solve for x, and you have x plus 6, which is line FG, and line JH is 13. Well, because those two lines are parallel and congruent, we can write x plus 6 equals 13, and then when we solve it, we find out that x is equal to 7. In this one, I believe we did this one in class as well. You're trying to solve for x, so 2x minus 3 is kn, and it is the same size as lm, which is 37. So you write the equation 2x minus 3 equals 37. If I add 3 to both sides, I have 2x equals 40, and then I divide both sides by 2, I will get x equals 20. And remember, you are able to put that equation into your calculator, and it will also give you x equals 20. Now, a rectangle. A rectangle is defined as a parallelogram with four right angles. And I want to make sure that you understand the tick marks that you have right here and here tell you that those two lines are congruent, and then the tick marks that you have here and here, because it's two of them, tell you that those two are congruent. And remember, the box shape that are in each of the corners tell you that it is a right angle. These are just signs that we need to make sure that we're familiar with and that we don't forget. The special properties of a rectangle are that first, they have all the properties of a parallelogram, and then also the diagonals are congruent, and it has four right angles. I think that's very self-explanatory. Again, remember, you can pause the video to make sure that you get the notes down. A rhombus. A rhombus is a parallelogram with four congruent sides. So you have, if you look at this rhombus right here, it has, each side is 8 centimeters long. And if you think about it, what's another way that I can indicate that those four sides are congruent or have the same length? If you said put one of those tick marks on each of those lines, you are correct. Now, some of the special properties of a rhombus. It has all the properties of a parallelogram again. This time the diagonals are perpendicular, and there are four congruent sides. Okay, so now if we look at this example and we're trying to solve for x again, we see that I have 5x plus 6 and I have 8x. And I notice that they're both parts of the measurement of the side lengths, and they both have one tick mark, meaning that those two lines are congruent. So I can set my equation up as 5x plus 6 is equal to 8x. Now, to solve that, I would first subtract 5x from both sides, so I have 6 equals 3x, and then I would divide both sides by 3 and have that 2 is equal to x. Now, for a square, I think all of us can guess one of the things about a square. A square is going to have all four sides congruent, and it is also going to have four right angles. So by definition, it's a parallelogram with four congruent sides and four right angles. Some special properties of squares are basically has all the properties of everything we've talked about, of a parallelogram, a rectangle, and a rhombus. So it is basically everything a square consists of, all the other parallelograms combined. Okay, now we're going to I'm going to skip by this. You can pause it and try to solve it. But now we're going to talk about some other special quadrilaterals. All the ones that we've talked about before were parallelograms. A kite is not a parallelogram, but it is a quadrilateral. And a kite is a quadrilateral with two pairs of consecutive congruent sides. Remember, consecutive means that they are right next to each other, and congruent means that they're equal to. But opposite sides are not parallel. So we have to make sure we understand that opposite sides are not parallel like they were in a parallelogram. Because a lot of people think that a kite and a rhombus are similar if you turn it sideways, but they can't be because opposite sides are not parallel. So the special property of a kite is that the diagonals are perpendicular. And I know this looks like the picture of a kite that you fly, but this is also what a kite that we're talking about. The lines in the middle, though, are the diagonals that are connecting the vertices together. Now, a trapezoid. A trapezoid is a quadrilateral with one pair of parallel sides, and they're called bases. The parallel sides are the bases. If you look at this picture here, you see that the top and the bottom line are both your bases, and the lines that connect the bases are called your legs. So you need to know that term as well. The legs connect the bases, and the legs are never parallel. And that's why they always only have one pair of opposite sides that are parallel. Now, a isosceles trapezoid is a special type of trapezoid. All this says is basically an isosceles trapezoid is a trapezoid that has congruent legs. So you can write all of that if you want to, but all I would write is a special trapezoid that has congruent legs. And the special property of a isosceles trapezoid is that the diagonals are congruent, and that will help us in some of the stuff that you're going to do for your homework. Now, classifying triangles, some of the things that we need to make sure that we review and understand. If you have an equilateral triangle, that means that you have three congruent sides. If you have an isosceles triangle, there are two congruent sides. And if you have a scalene triangle, there are no sides that are congruent. This is the information for the notes that we didn't finish in class today. You need to complete the worksheet that is on the back side of your notes and bring that in with any questions that you have tomorrow for class.